The fact that I have a little bird sitting on my shoulder who goes by the name Nicandros and is a regular in my Twitch chat, he showed me some things, and because of that, this is where I start to feel a niggling doubt. For instance,
a niggling doubt.
That's an interesting choice of words.
No, okay, so this Nicandros guy is basically this guy's like the top researcher for this whole story. He really looked into Nux and he looked into Muta and he compared their previous statements and he really looked at their history or whatever, especially with Nux here, his history. Apparently, Nux says lolicon in his thumbnails, right? I kind of wish it was censored, okay? Like, holy fucking shit.
It's
but
terrible, but
you know, to some extent, you do need to like know just like the depraved shit that's in his thumbnails. And you know, Harmful Opinions is gonna do a good job explaining like why just having this in the thumbnail as if it wasn't obvious enough, right? The source posters and the fucking kids that watch this shit, right? It's basically just almost like providing like a good like lolly resource farm almost on his channel by having all this art in his thumbnails and people being like, ooh, give me the link, and then his Reddit was supplying the links to everything.
Yeah, the top comment would always be like, here's the source.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
I mean, he did specify clearly child bestiality is what he has an issue with, so it's not the same, but goddamn, the line for what he considers freak shit suited only for ripping on has got to be a bit closer to Shadman than it is for me. I mean, cartoon woman being raped by a dog in a public humiliation ritual crosses it easily for me, personally. You know me, I do love making a spectacle of strange things, but this is just bait for who knows what kind of person to click it, and then watch him react to a speedrun fail compilation.
Yeah, and you know what this reminds me of too? It's like people for some reason don't draw the line at bestiality.
Why? Why not?
It's the same thing with the Vaughn stuff, right? People are like, oh, I thought Vaughn had a funny porn moment. I didn't realize there was lolly in there. It's like, yeah, but the stuff that you immediately knew was in there was bestiality. So what, that's okay? It's the same thing with this, right? It's like, oh, well, bestiality is cool as long as it's adults. You know that shit's illegal too, right?
And it's disgusting.
Like, yeah, obviously the fucking lolly is worse than bestiality if I had to rank it, you know what I mean? But still, doesn't fucking matter. It's bestiality should also be thrown across the line, but it's not for some reason on the internet.
For some reason, it's a lot more forgivable.
It's like funny or something to people, I guess.
It's just like, you have a funny, quirky kink.
Yeah.
It's the same thing if they liked like goth girls or something. It's like, oh, of course he likes horse cock.
They'll conflate it with that. It'll be like, oh, BC. There's furries, you know. Yeah, furries that jack off to that shit are deranged. They should be fucking locked away. Sorry.
Aiden, watch out.
I can't say that anymore because Aiden will debate me on it, but they should be locked away, okay? If you jack off to animals, if you think about animals sexually, anything involving animals, right? That should be also over the line, but it's not. And I guess you're a Puritan if you think that. Like, oh, no, furry stuff and bestiality, that's all internet culture, man.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Says who?
What kind of fish are you going to catch with a worm like that on your hook? This kind. The kind that's into that stuff and will share the source for your viewers.
Yeah, and exactly. So what Nux is doing by having these thumbnails with following them is, of course, attracting an audience of people that enjoy that shit and feel comfortable and safe hanging around, spreading it, talking about it, showing more, you know? Like, that's what you get. It's not just funny shock stuff to show on your channel, like, oh, look at this disgusting lolly. When you do content like that, right? When your content is, look at this disgusting lolly, it's so gross, guys, right? Like, this shit, right? Am I right, guys? You're showing you're still comfortable with, like, looking at it and discussing it and having it in your community.
The way he does is he's not like, look at this disgusting lolly. It's like a little like funny shock thing that he does. Like, we'll watch it here in a little bit of the way that he showed it to Mutahar. And he sees it as like the most cultured anime. So it's not like, you know, if we have it up on screen, we're like, this is the depravity of Nux Taku. He's not looking at it like this is the depravity. He's looking at it like this is the funny culture of anime. Right, guys? Isn't this funny? Here's some more. Here's her doing lewd things.
And what's really
positions.
even like the funny part, right? It's like, oh, the woman's getting dog.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the fuck? Like,
what is the?
Okay, we get it. It's crazy, dude. It's like, all right, what are we doing other than just looking at this shit? I'd rather not.
Yeah, this is disgusting.
Wait a second. That profile pic. Who's that little cartoon girl? I swear I've seen it before. Oh, how adorable. What a sweet child. I've also seen her in a thumbnail of a video on Nux Taku's Nuxanor channel. A rather unwise reverse image search on Google eventually leads you to a hentai site page where the image, which features an erect penis that had just been cut off for the thumbnail, is tagged with, among other labels, imminent rape. Lolly.
Imminent rape.
Lolly.
Imminent rape lolly. Really?
He used that for the thumbnail. He found that and said, this looks good. I want to put this in my thumbnail.
Shit, dude. I mean, come on, man. You know, people are always crying about getting demonetized. How the fuck is he getting away with this shit? Like,
I don't know.
Further, on the topic of his viewers being inspired to seek the porn he showcases in thumbnails, although he does sometimes help them out by pinning the porn artist's name when it's commented, there is also a porn-sick fellow on the fan-run Nux Taku.
Wait, was that the same one, or is that even another example? My chat forced me to watch two. I don't know, but
yeah.
Artist of the thumbnails called, so he pins the artist.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you got to credit the artist, right?
I guess when it's Lolicon.
What the man?
subreddit, who goes by reality_false, who is a prodigious source poster for everything else. He posts the thumbnail and shares where the porn's from, or at least he did until he was apparently banned 3 years ago. That said, his posts still remain, meaning he functions as an archive for Nux Taku's changed or deleted dodgy choices from before that point. Like this. Hey look, it's our little friend again. The source image isn't tagged with lolly on the site it's shared on this time, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's a cartoon of an undeveloped teen or preteen hairless girl getting railed. Neat. FYI, this whole video was deleted for some reason, so I don't know what was in it. By the way, that little shark girl, she's an avatar for a VTuber, and she's called Gura. Here's a little clip where Nux Taku mentions her.
There's lollies, which I have absolutely nothing against. I don't think anyone has anything against lollies, okay?
Whoa.
Like Chibidoki or Megumin from Konosuba or Gura. Nothing has anything against lollies. It's lolly that's the gray zone.
Okay.
So like what you just had in your thumbnail with the like forced open mouth and imminent rape?
Is that not porn? Is that what he's trying to say? Like, or, I don't even know, dude.
Because if he's just saying, okay, lollies are cute, like just like, I mean, I obviously disagree, but if he's just saying not sexualized, if it's just like, obviously that's still bad, but he's explicitly making the difference. Not sexualized is okay, I have no problem, but sexualized, that's the gray zone.
Well,
what the fuck is that thumbnail then?
Dude, am I psycho? It's like, even like the non-sexualized lolly is still,
weird.
It's created for the same purpose that the sexualized shit is.
No, I
right?
personally agree. I'm just saying, like, even from
it's
his
not art.
Yeah, from his perspective, he's trying to make this distinction. I agree with you, but he's trying to make this distinction of only when it's sexualized, like porn, that's when it's bad. What the fuck is your thumbnail then? What was that?
All of them are sexualized, so it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
He's very clear though, it's gray. It's not full pedo. His thumbnails aren't full pedo. It's sus, but they're...
Oh yeah, and then he says gray zone. So it's lolly porn that's in the gray zone, guys. The gray zone? No!
Give or take.
It's like, yeah, lolly porn's on the line.
I would
we
say...
haven't developed an opinion on this yet.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, okay, well now you're just being a pussy. You know what I mean? Now you're just being totally... Because you're like this massive YouTuber. He's in this situation, right, where he's like this big anime YouTuber. Obviously all of his fans are cool with it, right? They're into this culture. They're into this shit, right? But he can't say that it's great because he's not Rev Says Desu. He can't go fully mask off and just be into that shit openly, right? Because he also is a big YouTuber. He has big content creator friends. So much like the situation with Mutahar, he's also in the position, right, where he can't really take a strong stance one or the other because he's pissing off two groups.
Yeah, so he has to be this weird where lolly's okay, but a gray zone for when it's porn.
Yeah.
I feel like the gray zone should be way higher up, right? Like
it should be.
Way higher up, like even just enjoying the little girls, even if they're fully clothed and played by an adult, and that's already a gray, at best a gray zone.
Is it crazy to say, it's like this, they'll say like, oh, but non-sexualized lollies or whatever, right? They'll try to compare it like a picture from the 1400s or whatever, right, where there's like a little girl in it or something, right? And it's like, was that drawn in the same way that this lolly was drawn or whatever? I don't know. Maybe I'm just drawing arbitrary rules that just...
It's all degenerate.
This topic, dude. This fucking topic. Draw the line as far as possible, dude. Throw it all away.
Presumably with this being his take on lolly, his take on cartoons, you could definitely expect him to be much more serious about questionable things involving real children, right?
Okay, I'm gonna slow this part down. So this is him. This was a bit of a confusing part for the video for me because I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
Explain to me what's going on here. This is Nux reacting to some viral TikTok trend of like Animal Crossing characters.
Yeah.
Like riding.
No, basically dick. Like, yeah, a couple years back there was this, what he's reacting to is like this Animal Crossing porn essentially that was made where it's just like I don't even know, the Egyptian character getting like an animation of them getting it's obviously porn of an Animal Crossing character. And so Nux makes a video, we can see the title, "This hentai went viral and caught everyone in 4K," featuring Onkazone, which is the character. And so he makes a video reacting to this, and the song that he's listening to in the background is the song of the porn.
Right.
So he makes a comment here while watching the video, because what ends up happening is that this spread to TikTok and people who are underage started dancing to this song. So real people who are underage started dancing to this song and mimicking the motions that the drawn character does.
Well, yeah, because
in this video,
pornography of
a character they might know,
kids characters.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly, right? Which obviously draws in children, right?
Yeah.
So Nux reacts to this, and he makes a very strange comment here. Now we've got all these underage kids on TikTok doing the dance, obviously solo, but the implication is there. Is that what he said?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not funny. That's the other thing. Extremely concerning. For clarity, the words I heard him say were, "So now you got all these underage kids on TikTok doing the things. Obviously solo, but the implication is there." And then straight into commenting on how catchy the song is.
Why?
Dude, what the? This is like, to me, like probably the worst part of the
Why
whole
would
video.
you, how does your brain even think that when you're watching this?
Exactly. Like, how is that like normal? You're thinking about, like, we're watching this video, right? We're thinking about like commentary to add to the video as we're watching it.
Yeah.
He's watching hell.
The porn. Which, by the way, he's watching
video.
it uncensored. Obviously, he censors in post. He's watching it uncensored, reacting to it.
And he's like thinking about kids dancing
He's like,
to it.
there's so many underage kids on TikTok doing this solo. But I mean, obviously they're just doing it alone. But the implications there, which is also implying there's another character that's fucking the cartoon girl. And so he's what? They're implying that the implications there, the underage kids are like getting fucked or like dancing or riding. What is even going on in your head that you say this?
We're in hell, dude. I mean, this is just terrible. Again, I'm trying hard not to clip chimp or assume the worst, but it's very difficult with a clip like that. Like,
I don't know. I mean, again, it's like, oh, if that's the case, okay, he's right. What he's saying is true. That was happening. But I feel like the way that he takes it and handles it is not like this needs to be disavowed. He's like laughing along with it. He's like, it's so catchy. You know what I mean? Because it's not like he's lying. What he's saying is true. It was happening. This did go to TikTok and it was a terrible trend. But it's like, why is your takeaway that this is funny?
Yeah, you're almost like
catchy?
Celebrating it. You're like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so great.
And if it is terrible, I feel like making a video about it is the last thing. If you know that this leads to kids doing it, making a video be the last thing you'd want to do about it.
Even referencing that that's going to happen at all is like game over, because you're saying, it's like what retards will say, saying the quiet part out loud. But again, I don't want to be too crazy with this, but I don't know how else I'm supposed to interpret whatever the I just saw from that Nux clip there.
Kids mimicking a pornographic cartoon of an Animal Crossing character having sex on TikTok is not the kind of thing I'd use as a throwaway line in a video I'm making as a grown man, wiggling an avatar around in front of a censored porn vid. Children being drawn to adult material by use of a family-friendly IP and then being influenced to recreate it in videos for attention is spine-tingling. Masses of minors conditioned into producing soft-core chomo porn. This is a pedo's dream. Literally. There are jokes to be made, sure. Jokes to be made about everything, but just saying what's happening happily and lightheartedly, that's just normal and chill to Nux. For me, that's evidence we're in nightmare world. If you don't quite get what's spooking me here, here's Turkey Thomas explaining a relevant strategy used by pedos for you. Funnily enough, this clip features an image you might recognize.
So Tom's about to explain what, like EPI?
EPI, early porn induction.
Which is something pedophiles use where they will use like Nintendo characters or something like that.
Yeah.
This has happened all over the internet, right? Where pedophiles will use Nintendo characters, cartoon characters, and use pornographic versions of that shit to bring children in, get them addicted to all kinds of shit, and groom them and rape them, basically. So,
I get them used to it. So they start
and
producing.
that's what this Animal Crossing shit is. That's exactly the material. This is EPI material.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it was, I mean, even if you try to make the argument it wasn't created for that, it became that. It became that. It was going around to TikTok. You know, people were doing that.
Nux does continue to talk about that TikTok trend in his video. I'm sure he'll elaborate on the children he mentioned miming sex.
This is currently the most concerning trend on TikTok.
Is it really the most concerning trend on TikTok? There's literally a trend right now called devious licks, where people break into schools or are in schools and steal stuff. That is a trend on TikTok right now. No, this is the most disturbing trend on TikTok. All right, dude.
Sorry.
What the
What are you talking about?
What? And he just made the comments about underage kids.
So he knows what's going to happen. He's making the logical connection of what's obviously going to happen. Then somebody points out that same connection. He's like, why are you so bothered by this? Don't you know about devious licks? Shit, dude.
What the I mean, look, devious licks was also bad, but I feel like when I hear this is the most concerning trend on TikTok, it's, this is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. Nux even knows why it is concerning.
Because he mentioned it.
But then he gets like defensive. He
He's
gets
like
weirdly
mad.
defensive.
Is this really the worst thing you've ever seen?
What?
Why is that your response?
Dude, what is he thinking? What was he thinking when he was cooking this shit?
Yeah, I have no idea.
What? You're really going to tell me that kids are creating erotic dance material for pedos to enjoy, and then the follow-up is to downplay it? You can discuss which is worse, perhaps taking into account risk of injury, reputation, future ruination, blah, blah, blah. But why take a side so hard?
Well, more and more TikTokers have started to recreate that dance, and it's got people concerned. Basically, a lot of people are afraid that the dance is going to get really popular, and kids are going to start coming on the app and doing it and get targeted by predators.
No one's afraid of that.
What?
What the
He said himself it's happening. He said it's happening again.
He made a comment earlier about it. Why is he getting all weird and defensive now?
No one's afraid of this happening. So what that means that when he mentioned it earlier, he wasn't mentioning it in a negative, afraid way, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what that means?
Yes.
No one's afraid of it happening. So when you brought it up earlier that underage kids on TikTok are repeating it, the implication is there. That's not a scary, bad thing that people are afraid of.
Oh, dude, this is
Am I overanalyzing that?
We're projecting.
We're projecting and we're reaching? I mean...
No, what the what else is the logical conclusion to this?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not around TikTok enough, and I don't understand the ecosystem.
You don't need a degree in computer science for this, buddy. You told me kids are posting these videos.
Maybe
Who do you
I'm
think
not,
might be watching?
Okay, his take... we'll let him finish, but his take is maybe I'm not around enough. That's why I don't think it's concerning.
I'm not around around enough? Okay, dude. Around what?
Yeah, I'm around on the ecosystem of TikTok. I don't think the ecosystem of TikTok is what the point of this is. The point is that it's underage kids replicating a sexual dance that we're talking about.
Dude, what the Why is he just like playing this off? And look, 54K likes in this video. Everyone who watched this was like, true, dude. Go him, dude.
What does he say here?
But I don't think that people are afraid of kids being targeted by predators because they're doing a dance. Okay? Kids are targeted by predators on TikTok for freaking breathing crooked. I don't think this dance is gonna push anyone over the edge. But
okay, so he's clarifying. People just aren't afraid of kids getting targeted by predators because they get targeted for anything else.
Right. Okay. And again,
what the is the point?
What points are these arguments addressing?
Yeah, nothing.
They don't address shit. The kids are already getting touched. Like, who cares if they do this sexual dance?
What?
Is that the argument you're making?
Kids already get touched because, yeah, I don't even know a response to that. It's just like, no shit. I mean, we should reduce that as much as possible by not having dozens and hundreds of videos of kids replicating a dance.
Yeah, like, what are we doing here?
There's no proof. Is there a study to back up your claim?
Yeah.
That kids doing sexual dances on TikTok leads to more predators?
Kids are targeted by predators on TikTok for freaking breathing crooked. I don't think this dance is going to push anyone over the edge, but that's just me.
Oh no, it absolutely will push them over the edge. And I mean that in a very disgusting way. Nux
also,
can
that's
comprehend
true.
The
yeah.
That's also true.
Yeah,
Even if it's not like, oh, the predator reaches out and messages them.
You've got children that are being manipulated by this EPI to produce sexually gratifying content for pedophiles.
To use, even
Nux
if it's privately.
Like, who cares, dude? It's not a big deal.
The pedos would jerk off to anything.
Okay.
So we can just go wherever we want. Because they would jerk off to anything. So
you're right, dude. It's shit. I mean, I guess we should just legalize all of it then and just let them do it anyway.
Why are we scared of that?
I mean, kids are always going to get raped, right? So who cares? Is that really the argument?
I think
is this really like
the
the logical train of thought we're going down?
Yeah.
But again, we're projecting and looking too into it.
I don't think I like this guy. He gives me weirdo, slimy worm vibes. And you know what? I take back what I said at the beginning. Given such a severe mismatch between my values, my perspective on things, my judgment, my understanding of communication of things, and his, I wouldn't take his word on the general characterization of his Shadman interactions anymore, despite having been willing to give benefit of the doubt earlier.
I just scrolled back in my DMs from, how old is this? 1 second. 2020 with Shadman, because he sent me some wild shit.
Whoa. To a man like this, what even counts as...
Wild shit? Wait, what?
Wild shit getting sent that by Shadman.
These are words I would never want to leave my mouth.
Yeah.
I just got sense of wild shit by Shadman. Holy
yeah, that's got to be like full on just CP. It's like his source material or something.
Knowing Nux Taku's level of tolerance, I doubt he's solely referring to the couple of messages he shared publicly. Do you really still believe, given just the few highlights I've shared, that he really thought Shadman was purely a freak specimen to be toyed with? Bear in mind, he claimed during all of this he was unaware of the Keemstar daughter thing. So Shad to him was just an edgy lolly boy. Which brings me to one last little Shad nugget that made me chuckle.
Also, Nux used a censored picture of Shadman porn comic of Arya Stark played by a child actor of Game of Thrones for a thumbnail. This is all wrong. Okay, so we'll just do this one first. So I did use Shadman art in a thumbnail once. I made a video talked about fucking awful Game of Thrones, cursed Game of Thrones memes. One of the cursed Game of Thrones memes that popped up when I looked up fucking cursed Game of Thrones fucked up shit on Google Images was a Shadman art, and I didn't even know it was a Shadman art when I used it. I got comments saying I recognized the Shadman art, etc., etc., and I changed the art, not last week to avoid drama, not yesterday, so I could have a Zynga response video and make an apology. No apologies! I changed the art 2 to 3 years ago!
Alright, seems true he changed it a long time ago. Whether you believe the way he found it or not is up to you, but we'll get to that.
Also, to make things worse, they say that I used a picture from Shadman's porn comic of Arya Stark played by a child actress for Game of Thrones. Lies! It wasn't even Arya Stark. It was the freaking you-know-nothing Jon Snow girl. It was her. It was not Arya Stark. These people literally will go crazy out of every possible way.
Yep, seems true too. I'm not a Game of Thrones enjoyer, but seems correct. And I know it seems true because I checked, and I regret checking.
So I guess like that video, like he's giving like Nux like a couple W's there or something.
Well, he's trying to say that Nux is not lying about that, but he does continue this point as to what he picks. So basically, so far, it's the criticism is there's an old video that used shout art. Nux claims, I just searched Google Images for fucked up Game of Thrones shit. I picked an image. I didn't know it was Shad art. Like, he didn't go to Shad's website and get it from there. He said he just happened to stumble across it and found it.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, Shad does have a very distinct, like, style. You know what I mean? Like, he's known for his style. Like, he's very... You know how, like, everyone knows, like, Stone Toss comics instantly because he draws them a very specific way? It's kind of like a similar situation.
Yeah, and then he's claiming that years ago, before any of this even happened, even before the whole Turkey Tom thing, I don't know, maybe... He's claiming years ago that after he got the criticism, he changed it, not like recently when it came up again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so far what he's claiming, but harmful opinion is still good. I think he gives another point here as to why.
All right, let's take a listen.
stuff in some of his art, like the bestiality with fictional children, etc.
Yeah, the collection of images the thumbnail pic came from includes such an example of child dog rape. Now, I'm not saying he's lying about his knowledge of the true source of the image. Who could prove that? But I do find it really funny that in the set, there are two versions of the girl he used. One more developed with larger breasts, and one with much smaller breasts, which could be seen as catering to a normal range of tastes, but given the artist becomes slightly sinister. What tickles me, you see, is that, of course, Nux Taku's old thumbnail used the less developed version. I do also have to explain another reason.
Oh, okay.
So what it seems like is maybe it came from a comic, some kind of long comic about this you-know-nothing Jon Snow girl.
Right.
He's claiming one of the panels of the comic included child-dog intercourse.
Child-dog rape.
That's what he says.
Imminent rape or just regular
Yeah,
rape?
I don't know what kind. He's claiming one panel of this comic that was used in the thumbnail, unrelated, had that. And then also that Shad made two different variations of the same comic, one with a more developed woman, one with a less developed
What is more
character.
Okay, so I guess...
And so...
Does that mean like one was overage and one was underage, or like what are we talking about?
I don't know.
Does more development imply an older age, or like what are...
I have no idea. I think he's saying it just meant smaller breasts, smaller like body.
More childlike.
And he's saying that and he's saying that
I hate this shit, dude.
I know, and he's trying to claim that because it's Shad, you can't be very charitable. That it's just like a small woman. It's probably a child. So anyway, then he's saying that Nux happened to get the image of the Jon Snow girl from the less developed comic that he then used in his thumbnail of the two variations.
Okay,
that's the allegation.
Folks, at this point, forget roasting Shadman, forget trolling him. I think that guy's in jail anyway. The time has passed. Maybe this Nux Taku guy is the one in need of some flames. Seems like a soft target for ridicule to me. Ooh, maybe someone should troll collab him like he was gonna do with Shadman. Any podcast that would do something like that?
So like every like Nux fan, by the way, listening to this part of the video, at this point, just writing this guy off, harmful opinions, is like some troll, some hater. And if you look at the comments, I mean, obviously there's a lot of support, but there's also like a lot of like people. I was looking in the comments, people are saying like, this harmful opinions guy, he's a loser, he needs to get a life or something like that. Just ignoring everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you know, I've noticed in a lot of this Mutahar and Nux Taku situation, there has been a heavy backlash. I don't think it's coming from the community though. I think it's coming from outside of a lot of people who are like, damn, like you guys really threw Mutahar out for this or something? Like, what did he even do wrong? Like, you know, and it's at first, like when I started researching the story, I was thinking like, okay, is this community getting a little bit too like bloodthirsty?
Or too anal about like stuff or something.
Are they riding off the high of like Bo Blacks and now we're just looking for like any possible target like imaginable or something like that. But again, the more that I looked into this, the more that I looked into Nux Taku and specifically Mutahar's actions. I mean, Mutahar even making a video condemning Nux, not as harsh as what we're doing right now, but in a very similar way, and then deleting it the next day. And then it also, when you look at Nux, people are like, oh, so you're canceling Nux because he looked at a crazy image for reaction bait on a YouTube video 3 years ago. It's like, no. It actually goes deeper than that. You know, the lolly in the thumbnails, the weird comments about this like Animal Crossing EPI TikTok trend.
Yeah.
You know, there's just too much shit that collectively paints a very negative picture that Nux and Mutahar are kind of just like people pleasers. They're kind of just like, they'll kind of say whatever, and then when they're cornered, they just leave.
Yeah, they just kind of leave. They say enough just to temporarily satisfy people, but also to give the impression to their audience that they have talked and confronted and won the allegations, right?
Yeah.
When Nux makes this video, it's like, I've beaten the allegations, ignoring then what follows up, which is more criticism.
Yeah,
so,
which is bizarre. And obviously, I think Nux is like way worse here. Like, morally speaking, if I have to like rank them, I think Nux is like worse than Muta, but Mutahar's like, you know, wishy-washiness and his flip-flopping and his weird sort of silence, whatever. I just want an answer. And that's why I reached out to him. I was just like, dude, you got anything to say? Like, I mean, shit, dude. Like, he left the Tea Party. You know? Like, I got nothing here. I don't know what the his opinion is. I don't know what the is going on. And all I've got is a bunch of angry Mutahar fans telling me that he doesn't owe me an opinion. And I'm a fucking loser. So it's just like, okay, well, what the am I supposed to walk away from this from? I'm going to review the drama. I'm going to give my opinion on this shit. So far, we've mainly covered Nux. We haven't even gotten mainly to the Mutahar stuff yet.
Yeah.
But so far, for what I'm seeing, Nux bad. Muta, at first, good for condemning him. Now bad because he's seemingly deleted the video and walked away from every fucking claim he made.
Yeah, which is completely contradictory.
And then you got Nux going on his channel the next day saying stuff like, me and Muta are still friends.
Yeah.
You know, when Muta in that video said, I will never be friends with Nux. I could never be friends with somebody that's done this. I'm just sitting here like, what the
Yeah.
This is like complete, total, like back and forth. I don't know what I'm
it's like
watching.
Nothing you're
This
saying is
autistic.
real. Yeah, nothing you're saying is real. What are we supposed to do? Never take you seriously?
Exactly. Mutahar's devalued his words so much through this whole situation.
Yeah.
And maybe he could clear things up and just be like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like, I like this guy. He's my friend, but he's also done some bad stuff. And, you know, I felt pressure to disavow him. But then I was like, wait, he's my friend. You know, he's a human. I don't know what the fuck. I have to come up with possible answers that Mutahar could give instead of just hearing it from himself.
Right.
Durham through 5 says commentary didn't throw Muta out. Muta threw commentary out and refuses any wellness check. That's true, actually, though. Muta's the one that exited from the community. It's not like he was like, you know, excommunicated. Muta willingly decided, he's like, I'm done with this shit. The whole point of my rant just earlier was like, I've looked at Chud's videos, I've looked at Nick's videos. I was reading the comments and so many people were like, commentary's eating their own again. Commentary is going after, they're so bloodthirsty. Holy shit, they have no real friends. They have no alliances or whatever, right? I'm just like, so the implication there is that Muta was given the short end of the stick, that he was
Yeah, but I don't think that's true
but
from
I'm
what
not
we've
seeing
seen.
it.
No, I don't think it's true.